UKIP spokesperson Michelle Brown.
Presiding officer, can the Cabinet Secretary tell us how many primary schools feed into high schools which are in the red or amber category, and how many primaries in the red and amber categories feed into high schools which are in the yellow or green categories?
Presiding officer, I tried to prepare before these sessions, but I have to admit that for the first time since I've stood at that dispatch box, I will have to write to the member with those specific details. But what I can tell the member happily is that the number of schools that find themselves in a red category, whether that be secondary or primary, is going down, and that is to be celebrated.
Okay, thank you for that answer, Cabinet Secretary. Schools in the amber category will receive up to 15 days support, those in the red category receiving up to 25 days support. There's no mention of additional resources in the guidance given to parents and schools, the additional resources being for the purposes of employing more teachers and to provide additional and upgraded facilities. Are you content that 25 days support is enough to take a school out of the red category? And what sort of work is going to be done with schools during those 25 days?
The work that goes on to help schools on their improvement journey is tailor-made to the individual circumstances of each school. And the member asked the question, can we be confident that that level of support is sufficient to move a school forward? And the answer to that is yes. And the reason I can say that is because I have visited schools who just a short 4 years ago were in the red category and year on year have moved up the categorisation system and now find themselves as green schools. Now, some schools' school improvement journey will take longer and they will need more sustained levels of support. The whole point behind our categorisation system is that by working collectively with the consortia and the individual schools, we can identify shortcomings, we can identify what needs to be done, and the support will be put in place to make those improvements.
Thank you for that answer, Cabinet Secretary. Schools will clearly benefit from the kind of advice and support you're talking about. And I realise that improving schools is an ongoing process, which is why the lack of concrete support reflected in the guidance on the school classification system concerns me. However, there are young people who have spent their education in either an amber or red classified school, whilst you're taking the softly approach to school improvement. What are you going to do to improve the life chances of young people who have been failed by the Welsh education system?
Well, I certainly am not taking a softly approach, but I can tell you what will not work is simply me stamping my foot here in this chamber. School improvement is a collective endeavour that is the responsibility of individual school leaders, the staff within those schools, the governing body, local education authorities, the regional consortia, and indeed this Welsh Government. I have high expectations of our education system. I have high expectations of our school leaders. They are in no doubt of that, but I also know that I need to put in place measures to help those schools make those improvements, and that's what I will continue to do.